Let's look at the international situation right now. The World Health Assembly meets tonight. Our health minister will be making Australia's presentation, but it's all about this EU motion for an independent investigation, which of course Australia has supported and indeed was ahead of the pack really in calling for this. Copped some flack from China, but has been vindicated by the numbers, more than 100 countries now co-sponsoring that particular motion, Troy.
Yeah, I think that's the right way to look at it. The Prime Minister was indeed ahead of the international community in calling for an inquiry. And this is not something that should be unusual or unexpected. Whenever there is some kind of virus outbreak, a pandemic, the World Health Organization always does investigations and writes reports so they can learn lessons from them. It's understandable, though, that a number of countries around the world that are so linked to China these days, not only through trade but also through education, through tourism, investment, are worried about offending, the new big dog on the block internationally. But countries like Australia need to stand up for their own interests and need to put the international interest first. I mean, it is in everybody's interest, every nation, including China, to better understand how this outbreak occurred and what we can do in the future to mitigate any kind of repeat circumstances. So the Prime Minister, I think, has had a diplomatic win. And he's won the support of other nations, and they are coming around to his point of view. And the challenge now is for China to accept that, to end the bluff and bluster and stop threatening or imposing new trade sanctions or restrictions, and just accept that there's going to be an inquiry and to participate fully with that.
Yeah, and certainly some experts in the field are suggesting that is not only the clever thing not the right thing to do, but it's the smart thing to do for that nation, because they've had a massive hit to their prestige, no doubt about it, off the back of this pandemic. And it seems some noises out of Beijing look like they might be coming around to be more constructive. Certainly the Commerce Minister today said that the wet markets, the standards are too poor. They've got to improve them. He's quite clear on that. That was an unsolicited statement that he made. So maybe they're saying, well, this is the way that they've got to respond to this, to be constructive as opposed to the bluster, as you put it, Troy.
Yeah, I think that's right. And we've seen that internationally there is a mood now for this inquiry. Those countries have supported this motion from the European Union, as you referred to. So China doesn't want to start a trade war with every other country on the planet. They want to make sure that they can maintain their relationships with everybody else, but they're clearly on the wrong side of this internationally. I think it's true, though, that they will want to have influence into the review, try to seek to push it in one direction or another. But it's in their interests as well, because the last thing China wants is another outbreak of this type that would be catastrophic for their global standing, for their own trading relationships with the rest of the world and their own economic recovery. So I think there's some wiser heads prevailing internationally and also in China.
Troy Bramston, I appreciate your time and insights as always. Thanks.